Hello, welcome to Real People Podcast. Just to kind of give you a little kind of rundown of what we're going to talk about. So I'm going to just talk to you a bit about your life, ask you different questions, but also we just want to get to know you, engage with you, get a bit of an insight. I've got a few questions, a few things that I kind of want to lead to, but just mainly a general conversation. Before we can jump into that, can you just like tell me your name, tell me where you're from, tell me a bit about you?
I'm Cassie. And I've been living in Manchester for almost 2 years, but I am from Bristol. And yeah, I would probably say that I would sum my life up with the word chaos. And also like a bit of like exhaustion all the time. A bit of chaos and exhaustion. I'd say that's probably like sum up my life at the moment.
Yeah. Two words to sum up your life: chaos and exhaustion.
Chaos and exhaustion.
Well, let's start with Bristol then. Start where you're from. So you're born and bred Bristol.
No, actually.
Okay.
I was born in Birmingham.
Okay.
And I was actually born in Surrey.
Mm-hmm.
And then I grew up in Birmingham until I was 16.
Okay.
Grew up in a place called Solihull. And Solihull is a weird place. Mm-hmm. It's very, like no one leaves the town. Like you don't need to leave the town for anything. Town mentality. Yeah, massively. And actually I've never experienced a town like it before. Mm-hmm. And not a lot of diversity. And when I found out that I was moving to Bristol when I was 16, mm-hmm. I was really unhappy about it. Mm-hmm. Because I was living in my small town. And I was really angry at my mum for choosing to do that. Mm-hmm. But actually, it was honestly the best decision I ever made moving to Bristol, because I really don't associate myself with that place at all. And I'd say that Bristol is truly somewhere that raised me. Mm-hmm. And so then I lived in Bristol from 16 to 26, and I moved up here.
Right. So let's start with Solihull, because you were there for 16 years. What was your kind of first, because that's quite a while to be there. It's not that you were there kind of just as a kid. You were there for your teen years as well. What was your kind of experience with Solihull? Was it, do you have fond memories, or is it something that you just don't?
It's not like I have fond memories for sure. I think that I grew up poor, mm-hmm. And it was a great because my parents aren't from England. Mm-hmm. So my dad's from South Africa, my mum's from Ecuador, mm-hmm. and they just decided to move somewhere for work, mm-hmm. to Solihull. My mum wasn't working at the time; it was all on my dad, and we grew up without much money. Mm-hmm. And then I really saw a lot of graft that both my parents put in. Yeah. And so the experience went from not living in great conditions to actually lovely conditions. Mm-hmm. So I guess that would kind of summarize, whenever I think of Solihull, I think of that story of my parents. So I think of that fondly.
Kind of graft in there.
Yeah. And it was probably a great place to grow, mm-hmm. in terms of their careers. Mm-hmm. But it was just very, very very white. Yeah. Very straight. Mm-hmm. And I think that I was probably going to Bristol, I didn't realise how sheltered people are.
Yeah, you're a bit of a bubble there.
Massively, yeah. Mm-hmm. And, it's very Tory. Yeah. So it's just small-minded. So mm-hmm. I was small-minded when I was living there, I'd say, in terms of not wanting to leave, not thinking that I deserved better for myself. Mm-hmm. And people just get involved with gossip and just can I just swear? Yeah. People just get involved in gossip and just shit like that. So mm-hmm. It really isn't for me. It's very like crushed velvet, B&M. No shade to B&M, love B&M, but you know what I mean. Like new builds.
Just town mentality.
I think. But I actually would have had that for myself, and my mum didn't force me to leave, and that is so not who I am now. Do you know what I mean?
So it was you, your mum, your dad, and your siblings.
And my sister.
What is your kind of family like? Are you close? Are you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That is an interesting story.
Because with your dad, you say your dad was from South Africa,
Yeah.
and you being from Ecuador.
Yeah.
Surely might be quite a big cultural difference there. But
Oh my God,
quite
huge.
A big different.
They're not together. If you're wondering,
So
fat chance that they would ever be together in in the same room. Like, they are worlds apart. Yeah, my mum is Latina. She's emotional. She is feminine and creative, but also, very independent. And my dad is charismatic, brash. He is very into he's into the toxic hustle culture, if you like, and expects that from his kids, sort of thing. He expects a lot from you.
How did they meet?
Well, I'd have to tell you how my mum got here first.
Okay.
It's quite a nice story.
Okay, go on then.
I don't think she'll mind me saying this, because I think that she should totally write a book on her life.
Yeah.
But when my mum was 15, she got pregnant, and she got married to a guy that she met in Ecuador. And that's quite normal, actually. It's Catholic. It's Catholic culture. And so she had my sister when she was 16, super young, got married. There was some, I don't know how much I can say, there was some illegal business going on and with him, and she didn't necessarily want to be involved. So she wanted to try and escape. He tried to, he almost killed her 3 times. She's gone through a lot of stuff that she should share with the world. It's not my place to say. Of course. But she's really gone through a lot. Claire, my sister, was kidnapped by him, and living in, Ecuador, where the cartel and people like that are very active. It was dangerous, really, really dangerous, and she knew that she had to leave. So she moved. So she planned an escape to this country, because her granddad is English, so my great granddad, and basically just took Claire without him knowing, and never spoke to him again. He died, actually, as well, kind of recently, and I think they were always very much living in fear that he would show up, and he was a dangerous person. He wasn't okay. So
so then they've come to.
So then they came to England, and so actually no, sorry, my mum, she couldn't afford coming to England first, so and it was easier with immigration to go to America. And she was was homeless in New York for a year with my sister. Wow. Yeah, so she literally just she went to New York just with the clothes on her back and an extra pair of clothes in a plastic Tesco bag or whatever it is, for both her and Claire. That's all it was. And Claire couldn't even speak English at the time. She was
How old was Claire at the time?
She was 3.
Okay, so she was still.
She was literally a baby. It was 3 or 4, and so she did things. She did things she had to do in order to survive being homeless. You can probably put 2 and 2 together with that. And she saved money whilst living in shelters, living on the street with Claire. She saved enough money to get a plane ticket here, where she had family, and basically just completely started a whole new life in Surrey.
Okay. So she got to Surrey. Is that where she's met your dad?
That's where she met my dad. And she was my dad's secretary.
Oh, okay, nice. And then how dad South Africa?
His is a lot more. His is a lot less. He's a lot more straightforward. He literally just came here, traveling to Europe with a bunch of mates, and decided not to leave.
Okay.
I don't understand why, because South Africa's so beautiful and it's hot.
Yeah.
But he just decided not to go home.
Surrey. So they met in Surrey. They've then moved to Solihull together. They've then had you.
Yeah.
So what was your first? Because back to their kind of cultural differences and back to, because that's very different, kind of South American to South Africa in kind of parenting styles. What was their parenting styles like, and what were your first kind of years like as a kid?
They were my dad. I actually have more fond memories of my dad, but we probably have a better relationship. I probably have a better relationship with my mum now. Like I was his first daughter, or I was his first child, and he was totally meant to be a dad, like 1000%. He wouldn't spoil me. Actually, very much teach me the value of things, but you know, he would more get involved and get stuck in, you know, if I wanted to do something, no matter how crazy it was, or, you know, outlandish as a kid, like with your imagination that you want to go do, he'll figure out a way, he would have figured out a way of doing it with me. Involved. Like one time we were watching, I think it was like Lilo and Stitch or something, and I said, oh my God, tomorrow I'd love it if we could just have, if I could have my orange juice instead of my cup that I always had in a pineapple. Because they were drinking pineapples, and I woke up the next morning to he dressed up the whole living room, and as Lilo and Stitch themed, and he had pineapples carved out ready for my orange juice in the morning. You know, amazing. Like he was such an active dad. My mum definitely had underlying ADHD. Well, she has ADHD, but she didn't realize, and I think that she was I think she's got a lot of trauma from her past. That she didn't have a lot of patience, and she struggled. I think she struggled being a mum she struggled with early years children, and maybe having a family dynamic that was so different. My family dynamic that was normal, and Claire's being, you know, heightened in stress and tension. I think that she didn't necessarily know how to actually just do it normally. So it was always fight or flight for her, and I think she did instill quite a lot of fear in me. Like I really has that kind of left its mark on me. Like she would always be making sure, she'd be like, don't do that, otherwise this might happen, or don't do that, this might happen. So it was a lot of tension, I think, and we never really got on until probably 5 years ago.
Okay, so
but now we're kind of swapped
positions.
Yeah.
Then, so before we kind of go into your kind of move to Bristol, what were you kind of your hobbies as a kid? What were the things you remember? That's what I used to do all the time as a child.
I used to play so much Sims.
Okay.
Which I still do now. And I would. What would I do? Playing loads of Sims. I would play Polly Pockets a lot. What else? I mean, I wasn't very creative, but I had so much energy. So probably just physical things loads and loads of dance and stuff and ballet and things. Nice. I was just being as active as I could be as a kid, always in the garden and stuff. And digging up things. Also, I heard, quickly, that, you know, the 3 signs of being a serial killer are digging up dead birds and stuff, or digging up things, or killing things. Okay, it's not actually that. It's killing things, setting fire things and wetting the bed. And I used to wet the bed, and I used to, all the mice that came in, that our cats brought in, I would always dig them up after a couple of weeks. So that was actually kind of I actually kind of went through a phase of that for a little while. That was actually a big hobby of mine. But I found out about the serial killers. Traits. I was like, oh my God.
So then you moved to Bristol when you were 16. How come they moved? Was it different careers, or was it going separate ways?
Well, my mum's been married a fair few times.
Okay.
So she just went through a divorce, and she was just like, fuck this. Because she went to Birmingham. She moved to Birmingham for my dad, and then obviously they weren't together anymore.
So what age were you when they split up?
6.
Okay, so that was still quite very early on.
Yeah.
So
and they remarried and had kids.
Okay. And were they all still in Solihull at the time?
My dad then moved just a bit further out, and then met somebody else and had a kid with.
I guess it's quite young, being 6. But what was it like growing up with? Because I know 6 is still quite young to have parents at different houses. What was that like growing up with, you know? It's because sometimes it can be quite a nice experience, because you know you go to your dad's on the weekend and he'll kind of treat you a bit.
That's kind of when me and my dad's relationship kind of went south.
Where's him on the
moving away, being with somebody else.
That's when it kind of got.
Yeah. I feel like it's a real cliche. To be honest, this whole stepmom.
Vibe.
But my dad met somebody who was very on the surface lovely and was turned out to be very, very manipulative and drove a massive wedge, because coming from my mum, my dad's always told me to respect your elders and not give too much of your opinion.
Yeah.
My mum has always, and this is, I guess, when this started to the role started to reverse here in terms of who I preferred.
Yeah.
But my mum would always say, you know, that it's so important to use your voice and start as young as you can.
Yeah.
And it was like the first time I really, you know, stuck up for myself and wasn't taking any shit. And that definitely drove a wedge, because I think that he chose to be with his family, with his new family. It's such a cliche.
I guess it was tough as well, because you know how you were saying a bit before that you used to have such these fond memories of your dad, of him doing all these things for you,
that was it.
And then that transition to him for a new family, and then there's a new woman involved who's kind of.
But he wasn't even the same with his, like, he had a kid, my brother, and he wasn't even the same dad with him though. Okay. Like, he, you know, I think that he's always been so. I think coming from South Africa, coming from a very structured militant background, like that's just naturally what you're going to come from if you're from South Africa, living in like the 80s. I think that he felt like that as his role as a man was very important, and like he needed to look after people, and he had a duty, and you know, so. I understood. Now I understand. I'm not saying it was right, but I was saying I understand, considering where he's come from, that he felt like it was his duty to, you know, to choose his new family, you know, because that was his, you know, he was the patriarch of the family. Yeah.
So you obviously, your roles, you've kind of had your opinion switch of your parents. Then, so obviously they've separated. What was it like living? Well, what was it like growing up with kind of parents that weren't together? On you, like mentally, you know, was it something that? Well, because you were so young, was it something that you were just kind of used to?
Well, like, it was like going to completely different worlds. Yeah. You know, like the world that I lived with my mum, which is quite normal. It would be just because they're such different people. I think that it really created a massive duality in my personality. Because every weekend or every other weekend, I'd go see him, and then I'd live with my mum most of the time, and they just didn't agree on anything. You know, they were still co-parenting, and they didn't agree on anything. So I think I had to really learn from a very early age of what's right for me and what I need to do, and I would be constantly disappointing one of them. Yeah. That was difficult.
Comes a bit of an ego thing, I think, as well.
It's like, that's it.
It's not that actually one of them might disagree, but I can't agree with you.
Right, exactly. And
it leaves you kind of in the middle of being like, I'm going to have to let someone down.
Exactly. And I think that, you know, I'm kind of glad, though, that at the time it was difficult. It was really, really hard to navigate. And I made those mistakes as well, because I was, like, obviously having to figure it out on my own, really. Because sometimes I didn't even agree with either of them. Yeah. But looking back, it's probably one of the best things for me, because neither of them could tell me what to do from early.
You probably find, because my parents have never been together, but they've always had quite a good relationship, even though they've not been together. So
how did you find that?
Me found that it's okay, but like, because they've never been together, was never used to them being together. So
and they were always agreed on things and stuff.
They were always,
or like they saw eye to eye on most
stuff. They were mates, if anything. So I've always had they've always had good working relationship. We'll call it, because I'm sure they'll probably be like inner things that they wouldn't talk about. But then so anyway, you've had that. You've then moved to Bristol. So your mum's found someone new. You moved to Bristol. What was that move like? Was that? Because at the time, I know when you're moving to Holland, when you're 16, where you've got your whole life there, surely it's a big change.
Yeah, I mean, like my life, I really feel like my life started. Like if anyone has been to Bristol, you'll know that it is. You've been
beautiful
to Bristol.
City, yeah, beautiful.
It is a bubble of creativeness. It is like there's so much to see and do and experience. That has also got like a dark side. That means that Bristol does have a massive dark side to it too, in terms of addiction, homelessness, and things like that. People are very much attracted to it, and I think I very much got sucked into it when I was young and impressionable.
Yeah, especially when you're 16, probably going from Solihull where
it was crazy.
From the other side.
My mind was blown that things existed, you know, or just I'd be walking on Stokes Croft, and that is just, you know, it was just like fireworks. And having ADHD, it stimulated something in me to really motivate me, and I really feel like it was like my life before. I don't really remember much of my life before Bristol.
So you feel
honestly.
like your life started in Bristol
Truly.
At 16?
Yeah.
What was that first kind of? So you moved to 16. So you just done your GCSEs.
So just done my GCSEs. I started college. I went to the same college. So this was me getting all excited. I'd obviously watched Skins before.
Yeah.
And I went to the same college
that they did.
I think that they were meant to.
Is it called Roundview?
Well, it was just City of Bristol College. Yeah. But like actually, the one that the college that they say they are in, they show it and stuff. On the inside, they're not filming in it.
Yeah.
But which is a disappointment when I went inside. Out. I was like, oh. So I think that was, you know, playing on my mind, and you know, I was
probably romanticise it.
Very much so. I was romanticising it, and I was really just. I was just open to a lot of experiences. It made me very impressionable, and maybe very much and too impressionable to some people and some situations.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to kind of talk about then, you just said, so you've said you had ADHD. How did, for you, because I think with, you know, ADHD, you know, neurodiversity is really on the rise in recent years because of science.
Yeah, and I don't know if I like that.
Oh, really? Well, how would you describe your ADHD to people? If you were like, just gonna be like, this is what it's like, you know, this is how I describe it.
My mind is always on. And it's really difficult for me to process much more information. Yeah. It might not look like I might just be sitting there doing something. I will be thinking of not just what I'm doing, but I'll have a plan, a schedule in my head of the next 5 things I'm about to do. And then also at the same time, somehow also be thinking and analysing what I've just done. So it feels like my brain is like looking on the outside, and there's like a whole plan and structure in place. So when anybody brings anything else into the mix, it's like it's a car crash in my head because I've got some kind of process to do. Can you relate to that?
Well, there's this great, I don't know, have you ever seen a program called Malcolm in the Middle? But it's a great program on Disney Plus. But there's this great, they do these, you know, like comedies sometimes. They have, before the opening credits, they have a bit of like a funny scene before it goes to opening credits. So there's one where the dad called Hal, who's played by Bryan Cranston, and it's like the perfect show of what having ADHD is like, because he gets asked to do one thing, and he's trying to do that thing, another problem arises.
Yes, yeah.
And then just that, and then he keeps on doing it until he's like
10
things
never
away
ending.
from what he was actually originally doing.
Yeah.
And then someone like a scientist retweeted and said, this is the perfect analogy of what having ADHD is like.
Yeah, it's like building something that's never finished.
Yeah.
And it's always a process. Something's always a process. But I mean, I've got hyperactive ADHD as well, you know, so I work so much better under those sort of like high pressure, I feel like it's a job interview, what the hell? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just like high intensity, high like extremes, I'd say it's just either one extreme or the other with me.
What would you say kind of the main drawbacks of main negatives about having ADHD are that affect you, obviously at school, but also still affect you today?
Yeah. I think hyperfixating is such a huge thing. Like, I don't necessarily know. So say there's a bunch of things in front of me that I need to do. I won't necessarily know what is the most important thing to do. Yeah. I will choose the thing that I think I'm going to get the most amount of reward in my brain for. When that happens, I know I'm gonna hyper focus on it because I'm really enjoying it, because I'm, you know, getting rewarded. But that thing that I've chosen to do might not be the best thing for me in all aspects of life, in all aspects of any kind of task. So what maybe was priority is just kind of falling, and you know, it's just crumbling around me.
Priorities and to set things forward.
Yeah, and even if I know that, I still won't go there because there's a real blocker in my brain that it's just like, it's really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Sometimes, hopefully, you know, I will be focusing on what I should be focusing on, but when I don't, and even knowing that I'm, you know, probably not focusing on the right thing right now in my life or something, it's still not going to stop me. So I'd say that you can be quite reckless with ADHD, and you really have to learn to time manage yourself. Otherwise, you can just spend so much time thinking about a person, thinking about a situation, and just everything else is going on around you that probably you did need to fix or do.
Yeah. But also
that's probably my hardest thing. Also,
on the flip side, though, what would you say? Because I think sometimes ADHD is kind of seen in a negative way, which I think sometimes is the wrong way to view it. Because there's been, you know, obviously so many great, you know, celebrities who've got ADHD who have really flourished, and it could be such an amazing thing. So on the positive side, what would you say your ADHD, what positives does it bring you? What kind of, you know?
I think like my authenticity is probably like the biggest one that I can think of, because not gonna lie, like the idea of being neurotypical, I really prefer being neurodiverse. The idea of being neurotypical is boring to me. You know, like it's exciting, and you can find some kind of excitement and joy in genuinely everything. And I'd say the hyperactivity is probably you know, a plus, you know, because I can I think I'm quite a good entertainer, and I think it makes me charismatic, to be honest. I think it makes people charismatic having ADHD, because you can hold a conversation well, you can, you know, talk about loads of different things, you know, like you can just be on, like, socially. I'd say like in social situations, like for like pleasure, I'd say that's probably the best.
And how does it affect you kind of in relationships or friendships? You know, how, because,
I'm a terrible no replier.
Oh, really?
And I've lost friendships
because of it,
Like, it's awful. It's so awful, and I really don't like it about myself. But, like, I will see a message sometimes, and if I don't have the capacity for it, I will respond in my head, and that's all I'll do. And even if you respond, you know, if you message lots and lots of times, you know, it would actually get worse. So I've really noted that the people I need to be friends with and the people I need to like surround myself with are low maintenance people who also have the same issue. But I would say, I mean, I regret that. I really wish that I could, you know, feel like I have more capacity to speak to people and, you know, to respond. But the idea of doing that and then them responding back and then me having to do that again. I know that's a thing that a lot of people have, but it's really overwhelming, the idea of it.
I know. I think sometimes as well, when you build things up in your head, especially with things like that, and you leave things on, I think one problem I have sometimes is sometimes when I let something go on, it finds it hard me to face it, or harder to challenge it. So I'll let it go on to the point where it's like, God, I've actually just let this go on too long. With ADHD, obviously a lot of it is just, you know, like you said, it's never been able to switch off. What do you have something that kind of relaxes you, or do you have something that kind of...
I still love The Sims. So that
Sims is what
really
still relaxing
is
you.
Actually, I get into a flow state. Time can just fly by. Which I know is a thing. But for people who really like The Sims. And well, I mean, meditation is something that when I'm into it, I am so good I'm so good at managing myself, and it is a real lovely hobby of mine when I'm into it.
When you're doing it.
Yeah, but I'm either in it or out.
Would you say you're very, because meditation's all linked to kind of being spiritual, would you say that's a, you know, would you say you're a spiritual person?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I was like religious.
Okay, in what?
And spiritual, but like in paganism.
Okay, could you explain that a little bit more?
So paganism is it's a religion, but it's a faith-based, spiritual-based religion, sorry. And faith-based, I guess. There's no God in the physical form. And it's not necessarily a God. It's the belief that all living things are sacred. And you included. So all living things, actually, to be honest, no, actually all sentient things, because there's a lot of there's a lot of belief in reincarnation and and mediumship and psychic abilities and speaking to the dead. And so it's a nature-based spiritual religion that focuses on you seeing God in all sentient things.
Okay.
So it's the respect of that, and there's a lot of and the practice of witchcraft is kind of what you do.
Yeah.
Which is spells and things.
Yeah. Okay. How did you get into that? Because it's not something.
Well, I don't know. I am very convinced that I've got ancestors who were shamans because being from South America and things.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of meditations where I'm always kind of seeing the same person, and this person is a shaman. Okay. And I really just I really just have some kind of belief that this person is my ancestor. Yeah. And every time I get really into meditation, and after a certain point, this person always comes through for me, and I can't hear them speak to me, but I genuinely feel a presence. And it's not like I have conversations with it. It's just there's something about them that I feel like I know. And it sounds like I've got like an imaginary friend or something, but it's I can't explain it. I think that people who know will know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I really don't know how I got into it. I think I went through a breakup actually, and I was really trying to get back with him, so I did a spell to do that, and it didn't go well. But then, I realised how spiritual my mum was, and kind of she put that side to bed for herself. But she is much more spiritual now as well because of me. So is my sister. So yeah, I don't know. It's just a breakup.
Something you got to. So back to kind of
really young though. I was probably like it was like a breakup when I was like in high school. Yeah.
So back to going sidetracked a bit from your story. So you moved to Bristol. You were in Bristol for so long, and now you live in Manchester. So you moved to Manchester. How old were you when you moved?
26.
What was the decision behind that?
Well, I think it was more I wanted to get away from Bristol.
Yeah, just ready for a new kind of chapter of your life.
Yeah, Bristol is, like I said, Bristol's got a dark side to it, and I felt like you can't just go on a regular, nice civilized drinks. Yeah. Or not at least with the friends I was with. But like it's well known just to not be like you can't relax. There's no chill about it, and I really wanted to focus on moving forward for me. And it's a small place anyway. There's not a lot of opportunity in terms of what I wanted to do. Yeah. So
I think as well, it's good to move to challenge yourself. I think that's where it's challenging yourself, moving somewhere you don't know a lot of people, and seeing how it goes. I think it's always good to. I don't
know why it was Manchester.
Yeah.
I went to go visit a friend in Liverpool, and I stopped in Manchester, and I preferred the 3 hours I was in Manchester to the 3 days I was in Liverpool. I so much. I just really felt like a pull here. And then I met my boyfriend who also said he wanted to move to Manchester separately. Yeah. So we were like, okay, we're gonna go there.
So when was this time? So when did you meet your boyfriend? Sorry.
We met in 2021.
2021, and then you both both wanted to come to Manchester, so you moved to Manchester. What was it like? So you moved together. What was it like moving together and moving to a new city in general?
It was nice. Yeah. It was satisfying because we've been together for 2 years before. We wanted to. We always had this on the cards, even from the first date that we spoke, and we wanted to. Really we felt like our lives were going to start when we moved to Manchester. I love that. We always think that about things because it never ever is like that. Yeah. But it was really satisfying, and I started a new job. I moved and started a new job. He moved and didn't, and works from home. Yeah. I think that's been a difficult dynamic though, because I've opened myself up to a lot of people and a lot of experiences, and I think that he does struggle with that.
Working from home.
Working from home, you know, so it's been something that we've always had to work on, which is the dynamic of socializing and spending time together.
You obviously have a life together, but you also want your own lives. Yeah.
I'll come home from work, and the last thing I want to do is chat.
Yeah.
Now, and he'll obviously want to
really want to chat.
So that's been something that we're getting better at.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And in terms of then, because I know obviously your parents separated, and sometimes I think kids with parents who've separated, they have a different perception of relationships and love than people whose parents, what I've learned from a lot of my friends, their parents who've always been together, they're relationship orientated, they need to be in a relationship, that's how they work. And I get it, to be honest, but people who've not had that kind of have a different perception, and they're quite okay with being on their own. What would you say, because of your upbringing with your parents kind of going separate ways, and you're seeing obviously with your dad's other partner, what would you say your kind of perception of love and being in a relationship is?
I don't think that we're necessarily made for one person.
Yeah.
I know I'm very confident in my belief that I don't think that we're made just for one person.
Yeah.
There's billions of people in the world.
I think you've got, when you're soulmate, I think you've got infinite.
Yeah, I actually do believe in soulmates.
Hopefully more than one soulmate.
Yeah, I do believe in soulmates. If I'm honest, every single boyfriend I've ever had, they've been my soulmate, and I've loved them, and I've been in love with them. I've never not been in love with any of my boyfriends.
Yeah. And what's your being in love like? How do you?
It's like it's independent. It's independent. Mm-hmm. I really prefer separate, being your own separate person, and then coming together and supporting each other.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't necessarily think that I don't necessarily care for quality time as much as I do just truly being there, really listening to me,
for sure.
And being there for all the different like experiences.
Of course.
But very much just doing life together. Like I really need somebody who's going to let me be myself, who's going to let me explore as well. And I'd say, because I don't necessarily feel like there is just one person in the world,
for sure.
I really do think that people should open themselves up more to the preference, to their potential preference of being polyamorous or being open, because I do believe that you can be committed to more than one person.
Yeah,
and it works.
I think it's all what works for you as an individual, and what works for you together. Just because we're kind of down getting to the kind of ending parts, for the future, what is your kind of things you want for the future? What is on your, like, what would you, if you could be looking in 5 years' time, where would you want to be? What would you want to done? What do you want to ticked off?
I want to explore my sexuality more.
Okay.
I want to create my own business, or I've already created it, but truly solidify that for myself. I want to be self-employed.
Yeah.
And I want to be financially secure.
Nice.
Yeah. I want to, feel like I can potentially raise a child, and them have a comfortable life.
For sure.
That's what I want.
And as a last little thing, if you could give a message to your younger self, or just give a message to kind of everyone, that you want one thing to everyone to know, and not even about you, just kind of a bit of advice, or how they should live their life. What's one thing that you would want everyone to kind of take on board in their next kind of steps of their own journeys? Being present. Being present
is truly like the only thing that is important. Is like being in the moment, living not for tomorrow, living not because of something that happened, truly because of now. I think that if we were to live more in the present times, people's egos wouldn't be as high, and it would be much easier to connect with people. And so you owe it to yourself to really do everything like it's the last time you're ever going to do it. For sure. Well, thank you for your time today, Cassie. It's been lovely to have you on. You are a real person. And take care. Thanks.